Hello students, my name is Mr. Akash Pande and I am from St. Mary's High School, Meera. Today we will be seeing geography for standard 10 and the topic is physiography and drainage. We will cover physical divisions of India and Brazil and we will also see the drainage system of India and Brazil. Students will be able to understand the physiographic divisions of India and Brazil. Let's understand what do you mean by physiography. Physiography is also known as physical geography. It is also a sub-part of geography where we learn physical features of the earth. If we talk about the physiography of India, India's physical division has been divided into 5 types. The first one is the Himalayan range, the North Indian plains, the peninsula, the coastal plains and the island group. Let's understand about the Himalayas. Himalayas is one of the young full mountains in the world. It extends from Pamir North in Tajikistan to the east. In India, it extends from Jammu Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. The Himalayas is not a single mountain range. There are many parallel ranges in the system. The southernmost range is also known as the Shivalik. It is also the youngest range. Next to Shivaliks are Lesser Himalayas, Greater Himalayas or Himadri and Trans Himalayas from south to north. These mountain ranges are also divided into Western Himalayas, also known as Kashmir Himalayas, Central Himalayas or Kumaon Himalayas and Eastern Himalayas, also known as the Assam Himalayas. Let's see about the North Indian plains. North Indian plains lies between the Himalayan mountain in the north and peninsula in the south. It extends from Rajasthan and Punjab in the west to Assam in the east. Mostly a flat low-lying area. It is divided into 2 parts. Plain lying to the east of Aravalli are also known as the Ganga plains. The plains lying to the west are the western plains. Most of the parts of the West Bengal together constitute the delta region. It is also known as Sundarbans. The western part of Rajasthan plains are occupied by the desert. It is also known as the Thar desert or Marutस्थली. Most of Rajasthan is occupied by this desert. To the north of this desert lies the Punjab plains. The region spreads to the east of the Aravallis and Delhi ranges. These plains have been formed as the result of depositional work of river Satluj and its tributaries. The slope of its plain is towards west. Agriculture is largely practiced in this region because the soil is very fertile. So you can see the Aravalli are the oldest plateau range in India. Now let's understand the Indian peninsula. Peninsula means almost island. Peninsula means when an island which is covered by water on 3 sides. Example, India is covered by water from 3 sides, that is Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. The area lying to the south of North Indian plain and tapering down towards Indian Ocean is called as the Indian peninsula. It consists of many plateaus and hill ranges. Example, Maharashtra plateau, Karnataka plateau, Telangana plateau. Aravalli in the north is the oldest fold mountain here. Starts from Gujarat to Delhi. It includes a series of plateaus bordering the plains. Vindhyas and Satpura ranges in the central part and hilly ranges to the western and the eastern Ghat. Let's understand about the coastal plains. India is blessed with a long coastline extending for approximately 7,500 km. It lies to the western and eastern part of the peninsula. There are dissimilarities between east coast and the west coast. Let's understand the western coastal plains, which extends from Gujarat to Kerala. Borders the Arabian Sea by a large and rocky coast. At places, spurs takes off the western Ghat and have extended right up to the coast. Rivers originating from western Ghat are short and swift, hence they form estuaries and not deltas. So you can see the estuaries, what are estuaries and how deltas are being formed. Let's see the eastern coastal plains, which extends from Orissa to Tamil Nadu. The eastern coastal plains borders the Bay of Bengal, formed due to depositional work of rivers. Many east flowing rivers flow from western and eastern Ghat which meets the coast. Because of the gentle slope of the land, rivers flow at lower velocity and deposits sediments and forms small deltas. Let's see the island group. Islands in Andaman and Nicobar are mainly volcanic island. So, you can see over here they are large in size with hills, submerged islands. Let's see about the island group. India has two groups of island. One is the Andaman and Nicobar island and the other one is the Lakshadweep island. Let's understand about the Andaman and Nicobar island. Islands in Andaman and Nicobar are mainly volcanic islands. They are large in size with hills which are also called as submerged hills. Barren Islands is located in this island group which has the only active volcano in India. If we talk about the Lakshadweep island, India has large and small islands along the coast on the mainland. Islands in the Arabian Sea are known as Lakshadweep islands. Most of the islands in the Lakshadweep are atoll islands. So, you can see most of the coral reefs are found in the Lakshadweep islands. That is the reason why it is also known as coral island. Now, let us understand about the physiography of Brazil. Brazil is mostly called as the plateau region or the region of highlands. A plateau is an area of raised land that is flat on top. Brazil's physiographic divisions are divided into 5 types. The first one is the highland, the great escarpment, the coastal region, the plains and the island groups. Let us see about the island. The southern Brazil is occupied by extensive plateau. It is described as Brazilian island or Brazilian shield. Brazilian and Guiana highlands form the core of South American continent. The highest peak of Brazil is Pico de Neblina. Altitude is of about 3014 meters. Pico de Neblina lies on the border between Brazil and Venezuela. So, you can see the Brazilian shield over here. The region to the east and south of Brazil highlands have an altitude of more than 1000 meters. The highlands gradually slope towards north and the slopes are not very steep. Some major rivers like Uruguay, Paraguay and Parana originates from southern slope of the highlands and enter the Argentina. Let us understand about the Great Escarpment. Though it occupies a very small area, the nature of its slope and effect it has on the climate makes it a separate physiographic region. The eastern side of the highland is demarcated, that means separated because of the escarpment. The altitude of the escarpment is 790 meter. In some regions, the height decreases gradually. The escarpment acts as a barrier to the southeast winds, giving rise to the rain shadow area. The region to the north of this area is called as drought quadrilateral area. So, you can see the Great Escarpment in Brazil, which is a major geological formation that runs along much of the eastern coast of Brazil. The escarpment acts as a barrier to the southeast trade winds, giving rise to the rain shadow area in the northeastern part of the highlands. You can see the drought region, the drought quadrilateral region. Let us understand about the coast. Brazil has a coastline of about 7400 km. It is divided into two parts, namely northern coast and the eastern coast. The northern coast is characterized by mouths of many rivers including Amazons. Therefore, this region is a low-lying region. Marajo Island and São Marcos Bay lies on the east coast, whereas eastern coast receives large number of smaller rivers. The coast is characterized by large number of beaches and sand dunes. The plain region. The plains in Brazil are confined to two areas, Amazon River Basin in the north and Paraguay River Basin in the southwest. Amazon plain lies between two highlands, forms the largest plain land of Brazil. It is wide in the west, that is about 1300 kilometers, and the width is minimum towards the eastern side. The Amazon plains lies between the two highlands, you can see over here, which forms the largest plain land of Brazil. The Amazon River Basin has forested areas which are largely inaccessible due to frequent flooding and dense undergrowth. The island group. The island of Brazil can be classified into coastal islands and marine islands. Most of the coastal islands have formed due to deposition. These islands are rocky and they are the tops of submerged mountains. Some of them are almost 300 km away from the mainland in the Atlantic Ocean. Let us understand the drainage system of India. If we talk about the drainage system of India, we have two parts. The first one you can see is the Himalayan rivers, and the second one is the rivers of Indian plateau. Let's see about the Himalayan rivers. It is divided into three parts, which is the Indus River, Ganga River Basin and Brahmaputra River Basin. Himalayan drainage. Most of the major rivers in the Himalayas originate from various glaciers. In summers, when glaciers melt, the discharge of water increases in summer. They flood during monsoons too. They are perennial rivers. Perennial in the sense, the rivers which flows continuously. The drainage covers two major river systems such as Indus River system and Ganga River system. Indus and its tributaries Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Satluj drain the western Himalayas, that is, they flow through the state of Jammu and Kashmir. They flow almost parallel to each other. A major tributary of river Indus, the Satluj, originates near Mansarovar and flows westward. Punjab plains have been formed because of the depositional work of this river and its tributaries. Indus flows through Pakistan and then meets the Arabian Sea. The river Ganga originates from Gangotri glacier and crosses the Himalayas to become an east flowing river. Many tributaries of Ganga also flow in a similar manner. Yamuna, originating at Yamunotri, is a major tributary of river Ganga. Another major tributary of Ganga flows through the northern part of the greater Himalayas, crosses the Himalayas to enter India. When it flows through the Himalayas, it is called Sangpo. When it crosses the Himalayas, it is called Dihang, and its eastward flow thereafter is called as Brahmaputra. So, you can see over here, river Ganga is also known as the sacred river or holy river, river Yamuna and the Gomukh near the Mansarovar. From time to time, Ganga meets its tributaries, hence its discharge increases. Ganga receives Brahmaputra as its tributary in its low reaches in Bangladesh. The huge volume of water and huge deposition has led to the formation of a large delta region. Besides this Himalayan rivers, Ganga receives a number of tributaries from peninsula like Chambal, Ken, Betava, Shan, Damodar, etc. Peninsular rivers. The peninsular river system can further be divided into east flowing rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal and the west flowing rivers meeting the Arabian Sea. The western Ghats form a major water divide in the peninsula. The peninsular rivers, being rain fed rivers, seldom face the problems of floods. They are seasonal in nature. The west flowing rivers occupying the area between the western Ghats and the Arabian coastline are short in length but swift. This condition of short and swift river system exists in the states of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and southern Gujarat. Further northwards, one comes across the river system flowing into the Gulf of Khambat. These river systems are Tapi, Narmada, Mahi and Sabarmati. Tapi and Narmada flow slowly through rift valleys. Mahi river flows from northeast to southwest direction, whereas river Sabarmati, collecting its headwaters from the southern slopes of Aravalli ranges, flows in somewhat north-south direction. Another noteworthy river forming the catchment of Arabian Sea, you can see there, is the river Luni. It originates along the western slopes of Aravalli range and flows in somewhat northeast to southwest direction and flows into Gulf of Kutch. Rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal. Most of the area of the peninsula is drained by the rivers flowing towards Bay of Bengal. The important river system of this group are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Mahanadi basin occupies the northeastern part of the peninsula. Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri originate in the eastern slopes of the western Ghat. River Godavari is the second largest river system of India in terms of catchment area. To the south of Godavari is located the basin of river Krishna. Its major tributaries are Bhima and Tungabhadra. River Kaveri basin flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It is one of the major rivers of peninsula. It is a river that has been harnessed for irrigation since a long time. Let's understand the drainage system of Brazil. As far as the drainage in Brazil is concerned, there are three major river basins. The first one is the Amazon River Basin, second Paraguay-Parana River system in the southwest, São Francisco in the eastern part of Highland, and other rivers at the coast. Let's see about the Amazon Basin. Amazon collects its headwaters from the eastern slopes of Andes Mountain in Peru. Amazon River receives huge discharge. This is about 2 lakh meter cubes per second. As a result, Amazon washes off the load supplied to it from the catchment. Consequently, sediments are not deposited even at the mouth. A dense network of tributaries, which is a characteristic feature of river mouth areas, is by and large absent in the mouth region of Amazon. Instead, we find a series of islands developed along the mouth of Amazon beyond the coastline into the Atlantic Ocean. It will be interesting to note that at the mouth, the width of Amazon channel is 150 km. Most of the course of the Amazon River is suitable for navigation. So, you can see over here the Amazon River Basin. Towards the eastern side, if you happen to see, the width is more, whereas as soon as it moves towards the western side, the width of the river Amazon becomes narrower. Paraguay-Parana River System. These two rivers are located in the southwestern part of Brazil. Both the rivers form the catchment of River Plata in Argentina. These two rivers and River Uruguay in extreme south of the highlands collect their headwaters from the southern portion of the highlands. So, you can see over here River Paraguay and River Parana, which happens to move towards the eastern side and meets the Argentina. São Francisco. It is the third important river of Brazil. The entire basin of this river is within Brazil. It occupies the eastern portion of the highlands. The river flows towards the north for a distance of about 1000 km over the plateau and then takes a sharp eastwards turn to enter this coastal strip along the Atlantic Ocean. The river is navigable for a distance of about 250 km in its downstream reaches. So, you can see over here São Francisco River, which happens to move towards the western side. Let us understand the coastal rivers. Brazil has a number of short coastal rivers. The coastal area being densely populated, these rivers attain significance. River Paranaíba and River Itapecuru flowing northwards meet the North Atlantic Ocean. Rivers that enter South Atlantic Ocean collect headwaters along the escarpment. River Piraguaco enters the Atlantic Ocean near Salvador town. So, you can see over here on the map the Paranaíba River and Itapecuru River, and you can also find the Amazon River and its tributaries. Thank you.